Mr. 100 just flipped. And that's not clickbait. He actually just flipped. I'll explain what I mean by that. Also, I want to talk about why Bitcoin keeps on falling. Right? We talk about different entities buying Bitcoin, so many people stacking, all the bullish things, and yet Bitcoin continues to fall. And I have a reason for that. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. We're really close to 300,000 subscribers. As I've said, it's a bit arbitrary, but it is a cool level to hit. And if you want more outside videos, let me know. Dog's right here, resting up. Zara, hi. Say hi to everyone. And we're just enjoying the weather in the backyard. So, Mr. 100, he flipped. He did. He actually flipped to the 9th largest holder of Bitcoin. He bought 400, or they bought 400 Bitcoin here today. Now pushing themselves over to the 9th largest holder. And of course, we don't know what other Bitcoin they hold. We've seen transfers into another wallet before, so most likely they hold that wallet too. Hard to tell exactly, but they continue to buy. That is the important thing. They continue to buy, and I've seen some people say, well, Mr. 100 is an exchange, right? A lot of people think that might be the case. Maybe 10% of people seem to think that's the case. It doesn't look like an exchange wallet to me. There's been no confirmation of that. Either way, the buying is relentless. And we know that there are other entities too that are doing similar things, like MicroStrategy, right? They continue to dollar cost average more and more Bitcoin. We have Tether buying Bitcoin, significant amounts of Bitcoin. We have other companies buying Bitcoin. And people wonder, okay, well, if all these entities are buying Bitcoin, why isn't the price going up? And as I've said before, right, part of it just comes down to how aggressively entities want to buy or sell Bitcoin. Right, that's part of it. If I'm willing to sell Bitcoin and you're willing to buy Bitcoin, then, or if I just sell Bitcoin in general, right, there's always a buyer. Or if I'm going to buy Bitcoin, there's always a seller. But the question is, how badly do they want it, right? How badly do they want that Bitcoin? So that plays a part in it. More importantly, I think the reason we've been falling recently is uncertainty. Right? There's uncertainty in the world right now. There's uncertainty with recession indicators. There's uncertainty about rate cuts. Like, okay, are they cutting 25 basis points, 50? Are we going to have to cut by even more because there is some kind of recession? There's uncertainty also with elections. There's uncertainty with chip makers, right? Chip makers fell the other day and Nvidia was down 10%. This was the darling of the stock market, down 10%. And people are uncertain after earnings, like, okay, should we have money set aside to then go buy Nvidia, or should we sell Nvidia? In which case then other people want to sell their assets and buy Nvidia instead. So there can be big fluctuations when there's uncertainty. Now, on one hand, uncertainty is bad for investors. On the other, it creates opportunity. If everything was certain, we would not get very good returns. Right? Michael Saylor said that before. If everyone knew that Bitcoin was going to go up 10% a year, or let's say 20% a year for the next 10 years, that asset would not be very exciting for a lot of people anymore. If they knew that it was going to go to $2 million, let's say in 10 years, a lot of people would buy it tomorrow. A lot of people would be priced out of Bitcoin, people that were stacking, that see the outlook, see where it's going to go, and the price would jump and price them out of a lot of the Bitcoin that they could have bought. Volatility is vitality. Is that how you say it? Volatility is good, right? Volatility is life. Volatility allows you to get outsized returns. And while there is some uncertainty in the future, and while that has been playing a role in Bitcoin's price, I think you have to look at a couple very important things. And in my last video, I talk about the next parabolic move for Bitcoin. To be clear, that's not coming today, most likely. That's not probably coming tomorrow. That's not probably coming the next day. But it is coming in the near future. If you want to go watch that video, you can see that, where I talk about when that parabolic phase is coming. But A couple of things that you should pay attention to. First of all, we are coming into the phase where we usually see exponential returns for Bitcoin, right? This is typically where we see the best year returns. This is typically the best quarter coming up as well. September is not great, but the fourth quarter is usually really good for Bitcoin. Also, we are fairly certain the Fed's going to cut rates, which is a tailwind, right? That's a tailwind for Bitcoin and for crypto. It's a tailwind for stocks as well. It's a tailwind for the economy. So that's all good news as well. There's uncertainty about recession, but the fact is, one day economists are worried that GDP is coming in too high. That's going to cause more inflation. The next day they're worried that it's coming in too low and that we're going to see stagflation. Right? The fact is, we are still seeing growth, GDP growth, and we're also seeing, maybe some weaker jobs numbers, weaker market. That also can cause the Fed to actually lower rates, or lower rates more aggressively. So it's all in moderation, right? We don't want a huge GDP number or a huge negative GDP number. We just want things to be steady. And honestly, it seems like it's been pretty decent so far. I'm curious your thoughts on that though. But overall, we are heading into a better quarter. Usually when there's uncertainty, that's typically a good time to be DCAing. We have seen better regulatory clarity, right? With some cryptos now being labeled as commodities with ETFs. We've also seen, just in general, the stock market do pretty well recently. And in general, the economy is doing all right. So I think overall, crypto's in a pretty good place moving forward, right? So while there are some entities selling, there are also some entities scaling up, DCAing. There are also some of the biggest entities, right, in the world, with BlackRock and Fidelity offering it to their clients. Of course, they have not started, I still don't think they've started pushing it very hard. They have not started to include it in retirement accounts. They have not started to do it in retirement accounts. I mean, they have not started to do it in retirement portfolios, specific allocations where they say, hey, instead of a 60-40 portfolio, we think you should be 60, 35, and 5. They have not done it in target date funds, which will be important down the road. They've started to add it to a couple different portfolios, BlackRock, maybe 4 or 5 portfolios and different funds. But it's not like they're putting it in the majority of their funds yet. There's still a long way to go. Now, if you want to trade crypto, there's the link to Margex underneath the video. You can start trading in just a few minutes. And there's no KYC, no VPN. You can get started. And there are links to some other exchanges too. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.